But all of these people had been told already, I'm sorry, you have this terrible disease. There's nothing we can do. They'd been given a card for the local school for the blind or something, sent away. There's nothing we can do. And now our job was to go find them all and get them back. And I said, Derek, I could call a press conference tomorrow with some incredible thing about finding everybody in the United States with this rare disease, and 2 people would come, and they'd both be there by accident. They were in the wrong room. Nobody's going to come and listen to a scientist talk about this thing. But if you tell somebody that you're going to have a press conference at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and spit on the sidewalk, all the networks will be there, and they will be filming it, and somebody will be circling it with the little pen and talking about the trajectory of the spit and all that. And he said, I'll do it. I'll do it. And 2 days later, 2 days after he was here at the University of Iowa, he called a press conference saying that he was rejoining the Cubs, and he sat down on the floor of Wrigley Field there in a metal folding chair and took questions from the audience about Leber's congenital amaurosis and how frequent it was, and about the gene, and about this, and our URL was on the bottom. And in the first 12 months, we found 800 or so patients in the first 15 years of looking for them, and we found the next 700 patients in the next 15 months with that. And we raised $1.2 million from virtually every zip code in the United States and around the world. Derek's father was a professional baseball player, and he played, among other places, in Japan when Derek was just a little 8 or 9-year-old. And a guy who sells national baseball memorabilia in Tokyo auctioned Cubs jerseys in Tokyo and mailed the money to the University of Iowa. And I'm just telling you, you know, if you don't believe that there's power in that culture thing, if you don't think there's real thermonuclear power in that thing, you just have to see checks coming in written by everyday people from all around the world because they simply want to find everybody in the United States with this disease and get them a genetic test, et cetera. And so that's just gives you an overview of the culture of the Carver Family Center, why we think it's such a big deal, and the exciting progress we're making in Leber congenital amaurosis and Project 3000. So who's next on the agenda? I got up here without my agenda. So, awesome. It's now my tremendous pleasure to introduce to you Marty Carver, who's here today with his wife, Ruth. And Marty and Ruth are both members of our incredible advisory board. Jay Nelson is here today, too. Jay, where are you? He's up there. So we have Cammie and Gary Siemens, Ruth and Marty Carver, and Jay Nelson are 5 of our most active advisory board members. These guys don't just come once a year to sort of nibble on crumpets. You know, these guys are out there fighting the fight every day, talking this institution up, talking the mission up. And the Carver family, a few years ago now, Marty and his 2 brothers and their mother made an incredibly generous gift of $10 million to the University of Iowa. And they enabled us, with that gift, to create a nonprofit genetic testing laboratory so that we can offer the sorts of tests I mentioned for LCA, for Leber congenital amaurosis, not just for that disease, but at this point, 28 different conditions. And these tests have now been provided to 46 states in the United States. I asked my colleague yesterday, like, who the other 4 states were, and you'd be surprised. Some of them are surprising, but we're calling them all up and offering them free tests so that we can say that we've got all 50 states. But anyway, and also 22 countries. So we now offer tests that aren't available anywhere in the world, right here at the University of Iowa, affordably, because of the incredible vision and generosity of the Carver family. So on behalf of all of us, we thank you and your family, and thanks for being here.